My disclaimer is, I knew where I was coming, knew what my topic was going to be, but sometimes you don't really know the audience that you have to deal with. You know you're dealing with preachers and scholars of the word and all of that. So I do understand my assignment is not to holler and scream, so I'm not going to holler and scream. But if by chance I do get excited anytime I talk about Jesus, but I won't preach to you, guarantee you. I'm kind of, I might be kind of different from the other presenters because I might ask of you to give some input because by a secular profession, I'm a school teacher too. So I kind of like dialogue. I run my Bible studies however God tells me to run them. Sometimes I have dialogue, sometimes I'm the only voice that's speaking, but it might be a little bit of everything today. So with this topic of real men pray, I've actually been all over the place. I've been kind of just everywhere, just kind of seeking the face of God. And I've been hearing God just drop stuff on me. And I guess that's what makes me all over the place. Because, I mean, even last night, at 1 o'clock this morning when I got home, he gave me this, so I'll start with this. And this is what he told me. He said that prayer is the pulse that lets you know you're really alive. All right. So everybody just check your pulse for a second. Do you feel anything? I don't know your title, but I'm just going to call you Ryan. The Bishop Ryan over here shook his head. You don't feel it. So we got to pray. Y'all better check him now. So I'm looking. Oh, you'll feel something after a while. You know what you're doing. So I'm listening at God say, prayer is the pulse that lets you know you're alive. So in other words, prayer is a connection. And the more you pray, the more you can have life. It's a whole lot of people out there that are simply existing. And there's a difference because they don't have a relationship with, prayer helps you to develop a relationship with God. So when I think about relationship, you have to break the word down. Relationship, the verb is to relate. So when you relate, there's no way that you can relate to someone without having some type of dialogue, some type of conversation. So then I got messed up, even on that money phone call that I had when I stepped out. A friend of mine was calling about some things, and he was like, what are you doing? I'm saying, hey, I'm about to talk about real men pray. So I'm going to start right here. I want to ask you a question, and you've got an index card there. Thank God for it already being there. I want you to take 30 seconds and I want you to write your definition of prayer. What is prayer to you? Because everybody in this particular part of the room is male. So we're talking about real men pray. So we've got a room filled with real men. How do you see prayer? And while you're doing that, you don't have to write this, but while you're doing that, think about what's your prayer life like? Are you deficient? Or are you proficient? Somebody say, I'm not deficient, and I know I'm not proficient. Well, what am I? There's a middle that's called, are you emerging? Are you deficient, are you emerging, or are you proficient? So think about it. You don't have to write that, but that's just something for you to think about. That's something for you to put in your toolbox to ask yourself on a daily basis. And you have to do that thing sometime on a daily basis. God, today, my prayer life, was I deficient? Was I emerging? That means trying to get somewhere. Or was I proficient, meaning that I mastered the art of prayer? All right, take the victim. Any victim want to tell me what your definition of prayer is? Because I guarantee I'm going to mess the devil up sometime.
Sure. I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
Go ahead, sir, in the back.
Then I'll go lifeline.
Your lifeline, love it. Pastor?
Communication with God in accordance to his will or word.
Okay. Who else?
I said it's a two-way communication and action and attitude to my source.
Very good. For so many years, you hear people say that, and I'm glad you said communication instead of just talking. Because what about the mute man that can't get words out of his mouth, but yet he still communicates. He prays to God in his own way. Some of y'all real men pray. I'm all over the place. Please understand. I've got a format, but I'm all over the place. I'm looking here, but I'm hearing him. Prayer is say your definition again, sir.
My lifeline.
Your lifeline. One of the things I wrote, what is prayer? Prayer is our direct line with heaven. And as I thought about that, I thought about a song that they sang in every church, Baptist, AME, and they slow it down in some churches and we speed it up in the Pentecostal church. It says Jesus on the main line. So there's that lifeline of communication, a direct line with heaven. When you think about it, prayer is communication. You said that it allows us to talk to God, but guess what? It also allows God to talk back to. So I'm not always the one that's talking when I'm praying to God. He's talking back to me.
Yes.
And there are times in prayer when you go to God that you don't have to say anything. You just lay there. And you just listen. What happens then? Your heart's really talking.
That's right.
Yes.
Because out of the heart, the Bible says, what? Flows the issues of life. In doing God's work, there is no substitute for praying. You cannot. Real men pray. You cannot. And I venture to say this. Somebody say, what kind of proof do you have? You can look at it and find out. You cannot really be successful in this lifetime if you don't pray.
That's right.
You can be existent.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a difference in being simply existent. That means I'm here.
Right. Right.
But what separates you from the person that prays is they're actually, thank you, Lord, they're actually walking out their purpose in their destiny life. Number one, because they know what it is.
Yes.
Prayer helps you to define your purpose in life. Okay. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking, so many times we get it backwards, but what prayer does, prayer helps us to have a proper perspective at life at all times. So when you pray, God will constantly remind you, wait a minute, you're not even from here. He said you're in the world, but you're not of the world. So wait a minute, so we've got this thing backwards. That's why he says consistently in prayer, you have to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Well, prayer helps to keep your mind renewed. What do you mean by that? I'm saying when we go, we're in a building now. And there are some things because we're in the building that we will not be exposed to because we're in the building. But when we step outside of the building, then we become susceptible to any and everything that's in the atmospheric region. What do you mean by that? So many times we step out of our homes in seasons like we're in now, dressed up fine, doing good. We ride from our home to our destination. We were feeling good when we left home, but when we walked to the car, when we got out of the car and walked in our destination, we started coughing. We started sneezing. Why is that? Because the things that we've been exposed to in the atmosphere have attached themselves to us. Real men pray. Prayer is a defense.
Come on.
Prayer is can I help you? Prayer is a turnoff to the enemy. Y'all looking at me funny. It's okay. Prayer is a turnoff to the enemy. How is it a turnoff to the enemy? Because he doesn't want you to pray.
Right.
And a lot of the old scholars say it like this. They say, little prayer, little power. Much prayer, you've heard it, much power. But then there's a third category that says no prayer.
No power.
No power. So I can't get upset as a man, not even a preacher, but as a man, I can't get upset with my brother when my brother's advancing and I'm not because I refuse to pray.
Yeah.
Because I busied myself and I'm going to 3 points in a second. I busied myself because I feel like that everything I've done thus far, I've done it on my own.
Come on. All right.
People just think they wake up and I just woke up and I was like this. No.
No.
And guess what? Prayer. Let me help you. 3 main excuses men give. 3 main excuses men give for their prayer. In other words, I don't really pray, number one, because I can. That's the first excuse. I can. Meaning, I can do it by myself. Y'all don't understand that, do you? Yeah, you do, because you're a real man. And what men do, what most men do,
That's good.
when we go to Sears or to Walmart, and our wife, or our mother, or our sister, or sister-in-law, they want this grill.
Come on.
But we don't want to we don't want to spend the extra money to get it assembled, so we gonna go home and put it together ourselves.
I know I will.
Y'all playing.
I know I will.
So what we do is we excuse ourselves from reading the manual, and we look at the picture on the box,
Yeah.
and we see what the outcome is supposed to look like.
Right.
Y'all-
Come on now.
You talking right.
And you can't figure out what's leaning this
You can't figure out why. And guess what, sir? Guess what? And it's not leaning in your direction either. Yeah. We can't even figure out, as he said, why it's leaning this way. Oh, here we go. It looks right, but I got this one screw that I don't know where it goes.
10 screws left.
You terrible.
You don't find out with that heat on it.
Yeah, I got one screw, sir. Just one screw.
It's extra. It's extra.
It's an extra
It's extra screw.
That's all.
So I'm just gonna put it off to the side.
That's it.
All your meat going on the ground.
And if you like me, sometimes you just throw it away.
Rinse it off and put that thing back on the
I ain't
ground.
talking about the meat.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
But as you say, so you start loading that thing up with meat. Somebody walk by and bump it.
Right. Yeah.
All your meat is on the ground.
Yes, sir.
And your grass is on fire.
You almost made me say, this grass is on fire because it's already hot. So first excuse we say is, I can. I'm not praying because I can do this by myself. Okay, I'm gonna be as transparent as I can be, and that's all I can be. A lot of folk won't do this, but I'm gonna do it because this is the topic that the prophet has assigned me to share. It says real men pray. I'll be the first one to admit it here. I don't pray as much as I should.
Come on.
Y'all don't even understand what I'm saying. I don't pray as much as I should. And I'm glad all y'all in here pray. You know, you pray 3 times a day and you open your window. You understand that. And I'm at 40 years old, I'm to the point now where I'm not making excuses anymore. It's time to make adjustments.
Right.
That's good.
That's right. That's right there.
I like that. That's good.
So I look at myself and I'm transparent. I can. Well, I'm the head of my household.
Come on.
I'm the head of the household. I got a job. But y'all don't see where I'm going.
I'm with you. Come on, sir.
I've got a job. So I'm making money. I'm taking care of my family. I'm making sure all the needs in the household are met. Y'all don't even see where I am, but I'm stuck at number 1 because I'm like, I can. I can do it. When we exclude a prayer life, what we're really telling God is, God, I really can do this by myself, and we really can't.
No.
That's right.
But it's not until times, and they'll come, not until adverse winds, if you will,
Right.
blow into your life.
Right.
And what are you trying to say? Real men pray. God gave me a sermon. I'm going to preach it hopefully next Sunday. Sometimes we just need a reminder.
That's good.
God, I know I'm supposed to pray, but life happens. See, y'all don't understand. And I know I'm supposed to pray first thing in the morning when I get up. I'll be praying because you've allowed me to see another day that I hadn't seen before. And I should be praying, asking you for direction through my day.
Well,
But with the hustle bustle of life, and you waking up late, and me waking up late, not wanting to go to work, but knowing you have to go to work.
talk about it.
Hang out choice.
Don't have a choice.
Build. Sure.
So watch with my vehicle of prayer sometimes. And then the enemy wants to say, well, what are you doing? But we've got to understand, real men pray. Well, I'm glad we said it's communication with God, because the scripture says men ought to always pray. So guess what that lets me know? Okay, so I missed my wake up morning prayer. But I got to get to work. He says you ought to always pray. So don't get caught up on
Drive time.
huh? You got drive time now. What are you doing with your drive? See, I'm just being real. Talking about real men pray.
Yeah.
So many times I busy myself, and in my drive time I find myself. Oh, y'all ain't real, but I'm real.
Come on.
I find myself with the devil in my hand.
Yeah.
Y'all miss that. It can be the devil sometimes.
Yeah.
And y'all text while you drive. Don't even play.
I do. That's why I hit that mailbox. Yeah. I got a bill on my truck right now. Sure did. Pray my strength.
I can verify the deal.
When we look at this thing though, and what we should do, real men pray.
Teaching good, Doc.
We ought to ask
Yes, sir.
ourselves, how often in a given day do we pray? Watch this. Let me ask you this question. It's yes or no. Is it a such thing as praying too much?
No.
No.
Some of y'all quiet. Some of y'all were resistant to answer. You're reluctant to answer. Can you overpray?
No.
You can't OD on prayer.
Yeah.
I'm finna open up a good can of worms in a second. So you say you can't OD on prayer, right? So you can't overpray. I know I'm facilitating this part, so I can do what I want.
Come on, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
come on.
I need to stop.
Go ahead.
And y'all gonna help me. And we're gonna help each other. And I'll get back there. Number one is I can. But I need to stop because this is a discussion. In Bible studies sometimes we often have this. I want to ask you all a question because it can help somebody. I want to hear your thoughts on this. If I'm believing God for a particular thing, I believe it. I've just come through a situation where I was in search of a job, a different job, new job. And I've been told, and we're talking real men pray, it's going to bless somebody. I've been told in my life before that once you prayed and asked God for that thing one time,
That's it.
my question is, do you have to, see y'all didn't know you were going to be helping. Do you have to go back and continue to ask God in prayer for the same thing? I'm going to help somebody too.
Are you asking just as a question?
Yeah.
I would say no, based on Mark 11:23.
And it says,
It says that you believe you
when
receive.
you pray, you believe that you
when
receive,
pray.
and you shall.
And you have it when you believe you already have it.
Very
For
good.
you won't. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep going because you teach it.
But right there,
Yeah.
right there, and somebody may come with something else, but when you pray, believe that you receive, and you shall have it. But I ain't got it yet. So that's what happens. So then I go back. First of all, you have to go back, and you have to ask yourself, am I really believing?
Right.
Well, I'm really believing, but I don't have it yet. And I'm going with you. So I prayed for it. And I believe, but I don't have. So what am I doing? Do I keep going back and saying, God? Not necessarily. What you need to start doing now is thanking Him.
Thanksgiving.
That's it.
You teaching good, Doc.
Huh?
Yes.
Now you need to be. That's almost like healing being made manifest. When you pray, believe that you. Well, Lord, I'm praying, believing that you're going to heal my body. I know you're going to do it. Because you said in your word, you called him to His word, all these things, but it hadn't happened yet. But guess what? I don't have to go back and cut. Because God already knows.
Yeah.
So what I need to be doing now, how do you, Lord have mercy.
Come on.
I hear the Lord telling me saying, and even in prayer, that there are times when you can't get out of prayer without praise.
That's
right.
right.
That's true.
Man. That's sealed. That's true.
Huh? You can't get out of prayer without praise, so you have to put a praise on it. But what praise will do, praise will bring things in, it'll help speed up the process.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Because it's almost like it's a difference if somebody keep coming saying, Daddy, do this, that. And then that little girl come with those big eyes. You ain't done it yet, but she keep coming every day. Daddy, thank you for buying me the bicycle. Huh? She come back the next day, Daddy, thank you. And you like, I ain't bought no bicycle yet. But she keep, Daddy, thank you for buying the bicycle.
Yeah.
Thank you for buying the bicycle. Thank you. It begins to move.
sir.
It begins to move something in the Father.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
Real men pray. Number one is I can. Let me go back. Number two says I am. You write it down? You don't have to. It's okay. I can. The second excuse says, I am. Watch this. And what we say is this. I'm able to do it all by myself. That's what we say. When we don't pray like we ought pray, we're telling God, I'm able. But you got to understand, your ability is nothing without His willingness and ability.
That's right. That's right.
Your ability is nothing. And number 3 says, I trust. Watch this. Somebody like, how is that? What you're saying when you don't pray is, I trust in myself.
Yeah.
I trust in myself. I'm a self-made.
What?
Y'all don't understand that. It hadn't hit Warner Robins yet, but we got it. I ain't going.
Come on. Come on.
We got so many self-made
It already
folks
hit.
that ain't going, they just got saved last night.
They're an apostle.
Talk about it.
Just got saved last night.
They're an apostle.
And this morning they have the consecration service saying they're an apostle.
Archbishop. Chief of
And it's not as many folks in their consecration service that's in this room right now, but they're the
My Lord.
apostle. And the consecrator is their wife.
My Lord.
And they got the organ player and they got their grandmama that's comatose sitting in the service.
Playing E flat.
I trust E flat. I trust in myself, self-made. I've got it on my own.
Yes, sir.
Bishop.
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing.
I've got it so much. Hey, I told you I'm kind of all over the place. Is that all right?
That's all right.
Write this in your heart.
You can.
Prayer protects us from the bite of a problem.
All right.
You gave that to me before I walked out the
I
door.
like that. I like that.
Prayer, I didn't say it protects us from the problem.
No.
Per se, it protects us from the bite of the problem.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that problems are not going to come, because
Right.
Jesus said, I think it was 1633, is it? St. John, something like that. If not, you find it. You tell me, correct me. I say be corrected. But he said, in this world, you shall have tribulation,
That's right.
but be of
Good
Good
So prayer protects you
Yes.
in the midst of the tribulation.
Yeah.
I'm about through too. I got a whole lot, but I ain't going on. About 9 pages of notes. I'm just giving you some.
It's good stuff. Good
Real
stuff.
men pray. Praying men are the men who spend much time with God. Much time with God. So my next challenge to you is, what does prayer really look like?
Okay, that's good.
What does prayer? What we don't understand is sitting in our churches from week to week, we're saying simple words, so we feel, but people. And notice, and I think you read that. It was the disciples. He said, "Lord, teach us. Teach us how to pray." What does I want dialogue now? What does prayer really look like? How does one know? Got you where I want you. How does one know? Yeah, that's the teacher in me.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I know that I prayed? Real men pray. How do I know that I have prayed? Because and we can base it off of our definition that we've given. But I want everybody to be able to leave out of this room. If somebody asks you in Walmart, a man, hey, I think I'm praying, but I really don't know. How do I know if I'm praying? Talk to me, somebody.
One thing that
What's
I've
your name,
learned-
sir? 'Cause
Morel Anderson. Because prayer is communication. But what good is communication if it's just one way? I know that I pray because I hear God. I don't always like what he say. I'll say this. One time, wife was busy. Going to school, going to work, wasn't going to church, and she just busy. I took the time to say, well, Lord, I know she just needs to be closer to you. So what I decided to do, I'm going to fast and I'm going to pray for my wife. I set a time, and I went to the bedroom. I'm going to do this fast and this prayer. I got on my knees, started to bear down. And God said, get up from there. and go clean up the kitchen. Now I got up.
Yeah.
I looked out the window. Grass need mowing. Then I thought, garage need cleaning out. But then I thought again, wait a minute. God just answered my prayer. He said, get up and do what? I went to that kitchen. I GI'd that thing. I pulled everything out the cupboards. I pulled the refrigerator out. I mopped, I waxed. I made that thing just sparkling shine. When my wife got home from school, she looked in that kitchen. She smiled, grabbed me by my arm, kissed me on my cheek. She said, you don't know what you just did. But God knows, and sometimes what we're praying for, we're busy trying to make God do it the way we want God to do it.
That's right.
And when I hear it, just that one little simple thing. I hope I can do this real quickly for you.
Go ahead, sir.
Widow woman, 1920. She had 9 white women, 9 headed children. Coming home, widow, 9 headed children. Coming home from church. She stepped up on the porch, and you know how that weirdness were on you. Where you just don't, because when in 1920, there ain't no programs back then. And the goodness, and y'all ministers, y'all know about the goodness of folk when it comes to you going through. And she said, Lord, I can't handle this. Lord, it's just too much. I need some help. This just too much. I can't bear it. The Lord spoke back to her and said, what about them pecans you crunching under your feet? You could bake some pies. She almost got mad all over again. Because she thought baking pies in the counter. I got 9 children. But she caught herself. God told me to bake pies. She went in and started baking pies. Oldest son seen her baking pies, said, wait a minute. I can make some money with these pies selling slices door to door. He started selling slices door to door, started bringing money in the house. He got a car. Next thing you know, they're making pies. Well, right now, you can buy one of her pies at any store right now. Her name is Amanda Smith. Mrs. Smith pie. She just did with God. She just started baking. Everything was already, she didn't have to do nothing else but bake pies. The family took over. And in 1976, they sold Mrs. Smith's homemade delicious pies to Kellogg's for $56 million. And so what you're saying, and I'm just kind of bringing this out, bringing the whole thing around, because what you're saying is so good, that once we get a hold of that prayer God give us, a pit bulldog grip on whatever God said. Because whatever he said is going to work. It might sound crazy. It might not make sense to nobody else. But anyway, I digress.
Here we go. I'm about through. How much time I got?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me think about it.
Oh, you're good. Watch this. Next point. I got this before I left the house.
But no one I pray.
Prayer preserves us. Prayer preserves us in the midst of the problem.
There you go. That's it. It sure did.
Sometimes people wondering, man, how in the world is that man able to be going through? Y'all see, I've been in church for 40 years. And I've seen
My Lord.
people be put through persecution in the church. And people look back at them like, okay, we got some pastors in here. Maybe y'all ain't never been through stuff, but I've been through some persecution myself in my little short stay. But people are wondering, how is he able to keep it together? Prayer preserves you in the midst of the problem.
Yes.
It's not that it doesn't exempt you from the problem.
Right.
One of my favorite movies, I think, is The Golden Child. Y'all probably never seen it, probably before your time. But there comes a time in the movie when he sits on that rug and he has his hands there, he's just sitting so peacefully. God will just hold. He said, "Thou prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies." But when you pray, it'll preserve you in the midst of the problem.
Yes.
Watch this. We talked about 3 excuses that men give for prayer. On the flip side, there are 3 keys that men need to pray.
All right.
3 keys that men need to pray. Number 1 says, I can't do it. Y'all missed that. I can't do it simply says, God, I'm on your life support. I can't do it without you. He said, acknowledge him in all thy ways and he would direct your path. So when you're acknowledging God, guess what you're doing? You're praying.
That's right. That's right.
You praying. Contrary to what the popular belief, you praying.
Preach.
So you're saying, God, I can't, that means I'm dependent on you. I'm dependent on you. John 15, I think, talks about, I am the true vine. And my Father is the husbandman. So guess what? The branches have to be dependent on what? The vine.
That's right.
That can tell your neighbor, say, stay connected. Prayer keeps you connected to the vine. Number 2.
Yes.
Second key men need to pray says, I am not able. Y'all don't see what's happening, do you? We went from I am able to excuse. Now we're saying, God, I'm not able. Anybody ever had to run back to?
Come on.
You know, so many times, there have been times growing up, you know, when you get picked on so many times, people say, now I'm going to teach you how to fight. I'm going to teach you how to fight. You ain't come back in like that. I'm going to teach you how to fight. But then I'm going to teach you how to fight. Teach you how to fight. Teach you how to fight. Say, if they go out, when you go out there today, if they mess with you, you do this to them. Do that to them. You on your way out that morning, I was on my way out the door. He said, now if they do that, what you going to do? He said, now go on out there and get them. And I got halfway out the door and turned around and said, but I ain't ready yet. That's how we have to do with God. God, I'm not able to do this.
Yeah. Yes.
I need your help. And the third one says this. It says, you ready? I don't trust in myself.
That's right. That's right.
Therefore, I must have faith in God. I have to trust you, God. So many times we say, oh, I trust in myself. I got all this going. No, I can't do it. Okay, Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No other help I know. I can't do it without you.
That's right.
I'm on your life support. He said, seek ye first. Guess what you're doing when you're seeking? You praying.
That's right.
1 Timothy 2:8 says, I will, therefore, that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. And in my conclusion, I'm going to leave you with this. Watch this. Real men pray. If Jesus had to pray, what about you?
All right.